One of his latest tracks, and it's called "Too Many."
Too
Right?
many, too many.
Yeah, too many, indeed.
Yeah,
All right.
nice man.
So I know. So well, as we reflect on that one, we get into Beyond Limits today with Roland, and he's always ready.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roland, as you know, and welcome to Beyond Limits. Today, I want to start by discussing a very tragic situation. I saw it in papers. Sunday Express it was in. On the Mother's Day, become Sunday was Mother's Day,
Yeah.
and I'm speaking about the situation. Everybody will remember the guy who broke his neck, the young pilot.
Yes. Yes.
But based on what you have been hearing sometimes, at least I would have thought that he was making, like a lot of progress.
Some kind of progress. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I never knew that he was still in ICU
Oh, all this time.
all this time. That's why sometimes it's not good just to listen to hearsay, you see, because, I would have believed well, the person was almost probably walking or
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Something
Right.
when you listen to the grapevine. But based on what I'm reading in the Express, right, the Sunday Express, the guy is still, and he's basically, you can say, fighting for his life.
Yeah, boy.
So the mother, well, the family is asking for funding because he needs to go abroad
Yes.
for the kind of thing. So probably I might just give people an idea by just reading. I'm reading off of my phone. Huh?
Yes.
Right. So those people who haven't come across the article, then they might have an idea as to what I'm talking about. So it reads, Today is heartbreaking. Today is a heartbreaking Mother's Day for the mother of injured pilot Kristen Battersby. Nearly 14 months after a diving accident left the Caribbean airline pilot fighting for his life. The family of the 28-year-old first officer is now appealing for public assistance to raise more than 400,000 US dollars, which is tantamount to 2,720,000 TT dollars for specialized medical treatment abroad, which they believed could improve his chances of recovery and eventual independence from life support. So it just tells you the state of the person right
Oh
now.
no.
The person is still on life support. So you see, sometimes people are not just got to go by what you hear.
Yeah. No, I honestly didn't know that he remained in ICU since that
I
accident.
wasn't even aware that the person was on ICU. I wasn't even that. I thought the person was home, just probably trying to make a recovery or whatever
Yeah,
the case
yeah,
might be.
yeah.
The best. I thought the person was home based on what I was hearing. But
Mm.
now you're hearing now that the person is still in ICU. So, they did the next clip that said the family of injured Caribbean Airlines pilot. Same thing, Christian Batterby, right? Same thing, appealing for the 400,000, right? He's 28 years, and they say that he has remained on a ventilator in intensive care unit at the Port of Spain General Hospital since suffering critical injuries in a diving accident at Pigeon Point. Everybody will, at least by now, should recall that.
Yeah, I do.
When
I
the
think we most of I think many of us would. Yeah.
hmm and thanks to the foreigner, the woman who was very, that woman really put in a lot because when a lot of people had already given up,
Yeah.
a lot of people say he had already gone. And I remember the guy, the video clip that I saw, the person was filming it, was saying that the person gone already, that guy already gone and that guy already gone.
Yeah.
And it just shows you sometimes, in addition to that, it just shows you that sometimes you could never know. And always give people that respect because that person could be
Correct.
that person could be an angel.
Correct. And also in light of his current situation where he is still alive, but in ICU, there is still hope for him to make a recovery and even a full recovery.
Yeah, hopefully.
So let's not give up.
But what I'm saying,
And however we can help in any way, because
yeah,
that's a lot of money, but it's not unattainable.
no, but let me just say, in spite of all of that too, I mean, any parent, those who listen will do the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
Because when you're a parent, you don't want to give up on
No,
your
no,
son.
no, 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 you can't. You're
I
not
can
you're not
tell
built
you
that way.
what I'm saying. And I can tell you, being somebody who spent like about almost 6 years in a rehab center,
Correct.
I have seen
You
that,
have that experience. Yeah.
especially when you have a mother.
Yeah.
I can tell you, they are wonderful fathers too.
Yes.
My father was one of them,
Right.
that stuck to me to the end, and they're one or two too. But if your father is not there, everybody know a mother will be there.
Yeah.
I've seen mothers walk up and down the place, and sometimes you look at them, you wonder how they finding the strength to make it.
They say a mother can take the place of anyone, but no one can take a mother's place.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
I remember that.
Because I remember the other guy by the name of a gymnast, sorry, I wouldn't call his name, right? He was the John High Flyers. And he was paralyzed from his neck down, you see. So do you think he could move his head?
Right.
Could move his hands, nothing at all.
Oh my God.
And he was like that for like about 8 years before he died. And I just want to keep telling people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to tell people, and I keep telling them all the time, don't feel you have to be diving. In this case, so you might say, well, my son wouldn't dive, and that wouldn't happen to my
Anyone
son.
can become disabled at any time.
Well, the various ways.
Right. In
Vehicle
different
accident.
ways.
Most of the people I've come across, I don't know if statistically if that is true, but I could just tell you from my experience that most of the people I've come across with broken necks and not diving in vehicle accidents.
Right.
And everybody travels every day on the road.
Correct.
So that
Whether
possibility.
you're driving or passenger or even,
yeah,
in
because
a taxi.
Because sometimes just remember.
Could be riding a bicycle.
Yeah, because just remember, accidents is not just like you just crash into somebody or you ram into the
We've
back of the
seen
car.
people leave one
that
side
kind
of
of
the
thing.
highway and end up on the other.
Especially when the car tumbles.
Yeah.
Something here like a car flip 3-4 times. Then chances are you could end up with a broken
Has to
neck.
land somewhere. Right.
Because you remember you're already upside down, so you
Yeah.
can fall, especially
I know.
especially if you don't have your seatbelt on. And that's
Exactly.
That's another major reason why people should wear their seatbelts too.
Yeah.
It's because if you're not wearing a seatbelt and the car flips 2, 3, or 4 times, or whatever the case may be, according to the speed of the car, well, then chances are you can end up with a broken neck.
We need to think, and be responsible out there.
Yeah, very much so, very much so. So in terms of the numbers, they say they're trying to set up a GoFundMe campaign, right? And it has been launched to assist the medical expenses, travel and rehabilitation
Yeah.
costs of the person. And, well, the Republic Bank, for those people who are willing to donate, the Republic Bank account is 3500-2188-9031. I'll give out that number again. 3500-2188-9031. I just hope that everybody could really pull together. If everybody could just, they say we could come up with a kind of money. I wish everybody put up they say a $3 or $5. Because we have 1.4 million people.
Yeah.
Everybody and have the money, but they say if you have something like, let me say 100,000, let me say 150,000 out of that 1.5, and those who could put up 5, those who could put up 20,
They
$100,
can achieve
kind
that
of thing.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah, but then we have to start with that kind of positive mindset. And the reason I'm telling you that is, remember, people, today could be him, tomorrow could be you, it could be your daughter, it could be your father, your son-in-law, your sister, somebody that could be in that very same situation. Because I said it don't have to be a diving accident.
Correct.
It could be anything. Sometimes you could be rendered motionless by even cancer. Some people might have a kind of type of cancer that they will need money. My sister was one of them.
Okay.
I mentioned that on Mother's Day. I interviewed somebody for Mother's Day. And I was telling them, my mother has 8 children. Good, 4 boys, 4 girls. I mentioned that Monday. And everybody is alive except the first one. The first one, she died at 63 from cancer. And I think she had cancer of the abdomen or something like that. Good. And she needed money to fly her too. It's just that we didn't really come up with the kind of money. Because sometimes the kind of money that you will need. And I'm saying this in my sister case just to let everybody know that my sister already died and passed on from cancer. But always see yourself. People always say, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So my sister already died and gone, and that's all right. She already passed on. But in the case of this guy, you, your child, whatever the case might be, because many of the times children born with hole in their hearts, and you know that. Right? And this is what I'm saying is, put yourself in that person's shoes. Right? So in terms of, if you can give. Do not feel any what's the word? Do not feel any way, as the average man would say. Right? Just give of your heart, give of the, how they call it. Right? Pastors, I mean, they say people in the churches. Pastors tend to, get a lot of money from the churches.
Right.
No, I kind of person I tend to talk straight.
Yeah.
Good. I do really, if you ask me, I do really think the churches. I'm not saying that they don't, but I mean, when it comes to these kind of cases, I mean, to say from my personal thing, I don't really think that, the churches or the people and thing give that amount of money, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And I mean, giving is of God. It is of Christ, if you believe of Christ.
Well, you gotta,
it is of Allah.
it shows love, yes.
Yeah, because, you Muslim have what you call zakat.
I know
If I
about
remember,
zakat.
I'm not a Muslim.
Yeah.
But, from following, observation and that kind of thing,
Yes.
they tend to give out money to the poor and that kind of thing. So whatever God that you tend to follow, all gods, giving is of the Holy Spirit.
I like that.
Regardless of what God that you believe in or what God you follow. And what I want to add to that too, for people who are listening, if that remember, all the money that you may have in the world cannot create a life. And this is what I'll say. So all the
Very
gold and
true.
all of that people
That's a
thinking,
fact.
and all the money that some people might be holding, because people are the money, people are the money. I mean, people, democratically speaking, you can't be against them for not spending the money. The money is theirs.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? The money is theirs. And you can't vex with them. But however, what I'm saying is, at least to me, it doesn't really dovetail with the idea of you telling me that, you're serving God. Or you deeply believe in God. Because God created that person. In this case, God created you, God created me,
Yes.
and God created that particular individual who is the pilot.
Correct. Roland, we have a call coming in.
Thank you, caller. Good morning to you. Or good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon, caller. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Hello?
Hello, we're hearing you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I just called to talk about yesterday. I hope that I'm not changing the program.
Okay.
I have a son for Ansel Allen, who you was talking about yesterday, and he is deceased.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
To do example.
Oh, that's your son?
No, I have a son for him.
Oh, you have a son for the person. All right. Well,
Yes.
condolences, belated condolences. Yeah, we became good friends,
Yes.
we met in
I
Barbados.
just wanted to correct that.
Thank you very much, Mama. I really appreciate it because we met in
I
Barbados.
enjoy your program. Every day I listen to it, although
Thank
I
you
don't
very much.
really call in.
Yeah, feel free, man.
Every
Feel free to
day I
call in
listen
anyhow.
to the officer before you, and
Yeah.
this and you.
Thank you very much, man.
And
We really
Alex?
appreciate it.
Hello.
Very, very, very good program that you're carrying on, Alex.
All right. Appreciate that. We do. And
Yes.
thank you so much
One
for listening.
day I will be down there to see you.
That's not a problem. Because, before you go, Mom, I was telling somebody, Ansel used to amaze me because first time I met him was in 89 in Barbados. Good. And Ansel, I said, well, how you blind? And he riding bike and all that kind of thing. Huh? And
He
I
was
went,
not totally blind.
yeah, because I was telling somebody that he person told me he was totally
No,
blind.
the
I said, well, you
pastor
can't be
said,
totally blind because,
I am totally blind.
yeah, because he used to say, well, he has to be seeing shadows or some kind of thing.
No,
Because,
no, he more than shadows.
or more than shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ansel will jump on a
They
bike.
were not able to see on the board.
Oh, right. Because
Yeah,
Ansel will
they
jump on a
couldn't-
bike
they
in
couldn't see
Barbados.
on the
I
board.
saw him. And he'd be speeding, coming down the road on a
So
bicycle.
you want to know how he can be doing that?
Yeah, and you say they were certified blind. I mean, certified
Yeah,
blind doesn't
he
mean
used
that you're
to-
totally blind.
I used to ride with him. He used to ride me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on the bike. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling. Because I tell you, he had an extempo for about a whole 40
But I was
minutes.
wondering if I know you somewhere, because how you know, where you know Ansel?
Yeah, but the first time I met him really was in Barbados, as I said, 1989. A cross-cultural
Oh.
exchange now. Right? We went to Barbados for 2 weeks. And he was the person, matter of fact, he
okay.
played guitar for me. I wrote a calypso and he played guitar for me. And when we came back, we all maintained
Oh,
all
and
that
that's
kind of
all the end
contact.
up meeting.
Yeah, we all maintain that contact now.
Oh, okay.
All right, then. Thanks for
All
calling, ma'am.
right.
We,
That's very good program and keep up the good work.
thank you very much, ma'am, for calling.
Okay, we go straight into the
Yeah,
news.
straight into the news.
Right here on Talk City 91.1 FM.
This is TTT News on Talk City 91.1
On Wednesday,
FM.
May 13, Talk City 91.1 FM goes live from Tobago from 6 a.m. straight to 12 noon. We're taking you out of the studio and onto the Sister Isle, broadcasting from the beautiful Cocoa Reef Hotel. Start your morning with the Ground Report, featuring Lennox Smith, Andy Williams, and Nigel Snipes, bringing you real talk, real issues, and real voices from Tobago. Then from 9 a.m., it's Off the Record with Stefan Reese and Mr. X, unfiltered, in-depth, and right where the action is. We'll be speaking with key decision makers and influencers shaping Tobago's future. Tourism, business development, and the real issues affecting Tobago all front and center. Live, direct, unfiltered. Don't miss it. Talk City 91.1 FM live from Tobago this Wednesday, May 13, from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Talk that matters, where it matters.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Vermala Balkaran. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago today. Let's take a look at what's trending this morning.
Every morning in Trinidad and Tobago, a new conversation begins. And right here, we take that conversation further, speaking with the stakeholders and voices behind the stories. From news and lifestyle to culture, health, and entertainment, we bring you the topics that matter most as you start your day. Join us weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. Watch on TTT or join the conversation from anywhere on your smart device at TNT Today Show, Trinidad and Tobago Today, exclusively on TTT. On Wednesday, May 13, Talk City 91.1 FM goes live from Tobago from 6 a.m. straight to 12 noon. We're taking you out of the studio and onto the Sister Isle, broadcasting from the beautiful Cocoa Reef Hotel. Start your morning with the Ground Report, featuring Lennox Smith, Andy Williams, and Nigel Snipes, bringing you real talk, real issues, and real voices from Tobago. Then from 9 a.m., it's Off the Record with Stefan Reese and Mr. X, unfiltered, in-depth, and right where the action is. We'll be speaking with key decision makers and influencers shaping Tobago's future. Tourism, business development, and the real issues affecting Tobago all front and center. Live, direct, unfiltered. Don't miss it. Talk City 91.1 FM live from Tobago this Wednesday, May 13, from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Talk that matters, where it matters.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Vermala Balkaran. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago today. Let's take a look at what's trending this morning.
Every morning in Trinidad and Tobago, a new conversation begins. And right here, we take that conversation further, speaking with the stakeholders and voices behind the stories. From news and lifestyle to culture, health, and entertainment, we bring you the topics that matter most as you start your day. Join us weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. Watch on TTT or join the conversation from anywhere on your smart device at TNT Today Show, Trinidad and Tobago Today, exclusively on TTT. On Wednesday, May 13, Talk City 91.1 FM goes live from Tobago from 6 a.m. straight to 12 noon. We're taking you out of the studio and onto the Sister Isle, broadcasting from the beautiful Cocoa Reef Hotel. Start your morning with the Ground Report, featuring Lennox Smith, Andy Williams, and Nigel Snipes, bringing you real talk, real issues, and real voices from Tobago. Then from 9 a.m., it's Off the Record with Stefan Reese and Mr. X, unfiltered, in-depth, and right where the action is. We'll be speaking with key decision makers and influencers shaping Tobago's future. Tourism, business development, and the real issues affecting Tobago all front and center. Live, direct, unfiltered. Don't miss it. Talk City 91.1 FM live from Tobago. This Wednesday, May 13, from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Talk that matters, where it matters.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Ramala Balkaran. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago today. Let's take a look at what's trending this morning.
Every morning in Trinidad and Tobago, a new conversation begins. And right here, we take that conversation further, speaking with the stakeholders and voices behind the stories. From news and lifestyle to culture, health, and entertainment, we bring you the topics that matter most as you start your day. Join us weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. Watch on TTT or join the conversation from anywhere on your smart device at TNT Today Show, Trinidad and Tobago Today, exclusively on TTT. On Wednesday, May 13, Talk City 91.1 FM goes live from Tobago from 6 a.m. straight to 12 noon. We're taking you out of the studio and onto the Sister Isle, broadcasting from the beautiful Cocoa Reef Hotel. Start your morning with the Ground Report, featuring Lennox Smith, Andy Williams, and Nigel Snipes.
So enter now for the chance to win weekly cash. All right, so we continue. It's our second half of Beyond Limits.
Beyond Limits, Beyond Limits. You're welcome back, people, for those of you now joining us. Beyond Limits.
What's up with the sexy voice? What's going on? You just put that on.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding.
I guess in the mood, Probably do something just like that,
Don't make it sound like that. It's just the two of us in the studio. What moment are you talking about?
I tend to probably, I guess I just did the song like that when I'm extremely relaxed.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Calm and relax is good.
Yeah, my voice will probably tend to song like that when I'm extremely relaxed.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. I want to move on to the thing with the issue, which I think is a very nice issue, a very valid, and it's long in the making.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with the renaming of the Nelson Island by the Prime Minister.
Yes.
I want to say I fully support that. Political things aside, that kind of thing. I know that might be in the politics, but that aside, that is something I fully support. Because those islands, they have been there, but Nelson Island is one out of the many islands.
Yes.
And those islands, including Nelson Island, it was just there for a long time. I know there has been some kind of refurbishment, because I think sometime I saw a video, probably before now, where they had renovated some of the, if I'm not mistaken, some of the places when the Butler was jailed. The place that carries a lot of history.
Yes, it is. It is.
Because remember, Butler was jailed there, Clive Nunez, Macandal Daga, all these other guys, Kafra Cambon, all these fellows from the 1970 revolution. They spent time there. I wasn't even aware until sometime recently. Now, I know that Butler was jailed there, but I wasn't aware that he spent the whole of World War II there.
What? Okay, I didn't
6 years.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something like 6 years. You see, because remember too, that the British, well, we would have been under colonial times, right? So the British didn't really want any, memory serves me right, the British didn't really want any disturbance. You know, the kind of people like, Butler and them had power and a lot of influence.
Yes.
So they didn't really want any disturbance during World War II. At least in Trinidad and other countries where you might have the trade unions uprising and riots and those kind of things.
Right.
So that would have been the major reason why Butler and these people
I understand, yeah.
Yeah, Butler and these people and them would have been put in jail, well, for want of a better word.
I can just imagine. I mean, I can. Well, by stretch of the imagination, I'm thinking, being incarcerated during a world war.
Yeah, but remember,
That must be scary. You don't know what's going on.
That is nothing really new or just a thing in Trinidad. Those are, well, I mean, see, if you know history, well, that is kind of my forte. Right? If you know history, the Americans did that to the Japanese? The Japanese. Those Japanese who lived in America, World War II, they were put in camps,
Yeah.
concentration camps too. I think they made an apology many years after or some kind of thing,
Right.
if I remember well. You see, but although, their liberty was taken away from them.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unheard of, but it's just the thought of, all that going on outside and you can't really go anywhere. There's no freedom. Yeah.
You see, so in World War II, in America and Britain, and they had this kind of policy that during World War II they weren't taking any chances. So although, like Japanese living in America, they were put in concentration camps.
Yeah.
Hall and put in trucks and that kind of thing, just like what Hitler and them were doing the Jews.
Yes. Well, I was going to mention that as well. The Germans, yeah, that happened.
You see, so these are the kind of things, as I said, the policy. So I think that, back to Nelson Island, the renaming of Nelson Island, because I'm not sure, but Nelson is an English name. So
yes, I believe so. Yes.
So I believe, I'm not really sure. I should have probably checked that. Probably if you want to take a Google that, what the person Nelson Island was named after.
The person that Nelson Island was named, I'm going to have to Google that one. Let me see if I can find out.
Because memory serves me well, I know there would be a Nelson. I think he would have been in some battle or some kind of thing, the leader of some battle, something like that.
I'll find out now.
Yeah.
You hear me tapping the keys.
So we're checking it out to make sure that the listeners get the proper information.
Okay, so Nelson Island was in Trinidad. This is the AI overview. Okay, and people call in if you know the exact history. But Nelson Island was likely named after Dr. Thomas Nielsen or Nelson, an Irish slave owner. So
Right,
apparently,
slave owner.
yeah, Irish,
Yeah.
and medical doctor who was granted the island for a holiday home in the 1820s, while often confused with the famous British Admiral Horatio Nelson.
Horatio Nelson.
Right.
That was the one. Yeah, right, correct.
Historical records indicate the island takes its name from the 19th century private owner Dr. Thomas Nielsen. So I guess they changed it to Nelson.
Yeah, kind of. They can remember they said Irish.
That's according to the AI. Okay, I don't know if you have any maybe something an opposing view to that or information that may contradict that. Let us know.
It's very close because the reason I'm saying that when you mentioned slave owner, I was speaking to a neighbor yesterday about that, and she mentioned that he was a slave, but I want to believe she would have probably got mixed up between a slave owner and a slave.
Slave. Oh,
So that's why when you
there's a big
mention-
difference there.
Yeah, but same slave associated.
Yeah.
So she might have got mixed up between him being a slave and the slave owner.
Possibly. I mean,
So that's the reason why when you mentioned that, the slave owner, then I remember what she said yesterday.
right.
Yeah, so I believe that
Okay.
was going to be really good information. I don't want to say exact information, but chances are close enough. Then, yeah. So, what kind of name were you think? I'm putting you on the spot now. What kind of name were any listener listening? What kind of name they feel that would be appropriate for the island? Because that's what Kamala and them, the government,
Yeah.
or the people concerned,
What name?
they're looking for a name.
Freedom Island. How about that?
Ah,
It just
That's-
came to me.
Well, look at that.
Freedom Island.
Something the best names will just come to you.
Yeah. If they happen to name it Freedom Island after hearing my comment, I wouldn't mind a little national award or something, or some kind of royalties.
Yeah, but
my bank account ain't looking too good these days, I'm just saying.
Will be. You should be giving something, of course. Even if a little $10,000 or some kind of thing or whatever.
Well, I mean, whatever it is,
But Freedom Island is not a bad thing, I think probably so
I like
far.
Freedom Island.
Yeah. Because you remember, it has to do with, the detention of people.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
The island. And eventually the Freedom Island.
There
and if you remember too, Nelson Island
there is a
more or
Freedom
less-
Island anywhere.
Huh?
I said I'm wondering if there is a Freedom Island somewhere out there.
But not to my knowledge.
I like Freedom Island. I think it sounds appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a word that would make you feel like give you a positive feeling.
You will not only that too, but if you remember too, one of the Nelson Island is considered as the Ellis Island of Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Because remember a lot of if you remember, this thing came up recently when there was some, I'm not sure if the foreign minister from India, I don't know if you saw it on the news, but the prime minister, and he was down there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he was Minister of Foreign Affairs. I'm not sure if that is his portfolio, but I remember
I would think so.
some official from India, and I saw the prime minister and him down there, and they were talking about that. And what I'm saying too is that most of the indentured laborers, I shouldn't say most, but many of them.
Yeah.
Right. So let me just pin myself in that down in that corner. Right. So let me just say most, but many hundreds of the indentured laborers came to Ellis Island. For people who may not be aware, that is where they were documented and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Before they came to the mainland. Right? So that's a nice piece of history to understand. Even the Jews, when Hitler was having a problem and Hitler was killing all the Jews and the Jews migrated to Trinidad and Tobago. The first place, again, as I said, it was like the local Ellis Island. The first place they came in order to get the documents and register and all these kind of things. Just like the Indian laborers, indentured laborers, is Nelson Island.
Okay. Or Nielsen Island, as the case may be.
Nielsen Island. Nielsen, if you check it, Nielsen would have been more Irish.
Right, well, that's
because I remember Robert Nielsen, I think Robert Nielsen, the director.
Yeah.
The guy who worked in Braveheart. He was from Ireland.
You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Remember you something Nielsen?
Well, there you go.
We have something.
No,
Nielsen
I don't remember, Roland. You would remember, but I don't, okay?
Yeah, well, if anybody
it's
have
debatable.
Any other if anybody have anything view, because of me, say nobody is perfect, so I'm not banking on it 100%.
Yeah, but
if I remember with some Robert Nielsen.
Yeah, but that's an interesting story with the Nelson Island, though.
The guy who acted as Braveheart.
Yeah.
Not the Sean Conway one.
Who acted as Braveheart? That was that was Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Oh.
Mel Gibson acted as Braveheart.
Yes,
wasn't he?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like a thing I mentioned in the movie.
Yeah, Braveheart.
But somewhere,
I mean, Mel Gibson.
Yeah, but somewhere, the Nielsen. I could be getting mixed up with that.
I think you might be.
Remember the British footballer? The Nielsen, at one time, he was the most expensive footballer.
Okay.
I can't remember his first name.
I don't think my
top
memory on all things football is kind of taking me there now.
He was the top footballer at one time in the world.
Okay.
Most expensive player.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll take that.
Yeah. So
more expensive than Ronaldo?
At one time.
Okay.
At one time, I don't know if you remember when they came second to France. Remember there was a time when they had a match. The finals was Brazil against France.
I think I remember
and
that.
Everybody wondered what became of Brazil. Because
yes, they just kind of
in the second half, everything just fell apart. And players didn't want to play and all that kind of thing. I don't know if you recall that.
Lack of incentive.
And France ran through that.
Sorry, guys, we can't pay you for this game.
And something went wrong. And even when they landed in Brazil, everybody was wondering, when they landed in the airport, but what went wrong? What went wrong? I mean, you all weren't playing like Brazil or something. Something went wrong in the dressing room. That was everybody's idea. That during the middle half or the intermission, something terrible went down in the dressing room that when the guys came out,
Right.
although like they didn't want to play, you were seeing it. Good. And they lost to France. I can't wait for 3-2 or whatever 3-1 or something. So, but at that time, that particular Diniz, he was the most expensive footballer. From time to time, you had Roberto Baggio
Yes.
from
Oh,
Italy.
you're calling some big names there, boy.
Yeah, remember he was the most expensive player at the time to have thrown away a penalty and made Italy lost the World Cup. You remember that? Roberto Baggio. You can remember that?
No, you're looking at me like I remember everything, okay? But I remember the name Bashi, okay? I don't remember every single detail.
Oh, God, with the
I
football
guess it
enthusiast.
is worth remembering. Maybe not as much as you, Roland.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It's just big bucks of memories there.
Okay.
Without digressing, remember Maradona and the hand of God. You remember that?
Stop asking me if I remember, okay?
Maradona and the hand of God when he scored a goal with his hand. And when the referee didn't see it from where the angle the referee
Right.
and the referee allowed that goal.
There was no VR back then.
No. I think they were playing England, if I remember good.
Okay.
When he scored that hand goal. And when they asked him about it, when they asked Maradona about it,
He said it was the hand of
he
God.
said it was the hand of God.
Okay.
God. In any case, moving back to the topic.
Yeah, we'll be real straight, of course, there.
Yeah.
But anyways,
on
it's
this
cool.
Island, So as I'm saying, people, it's really, really, really good to have some place. We need that place because I think when it comes to tourism, it will do well in terms of bringing in foreign currency and all of that. Because we tend to leave here, and we always go to Europe. We go to look all at the artists, Bernardo, Da Vinci, with Picasso and all these things. We spend tons of money, not only us, but other people from around the world, to go and see the museums in Italy and all of that kind of thing. And I'm seeing, Nelson Island, whatever name, Freedom Island. I will take that. Freedom Island. Good.
Let's go with Freedom Island, shall we?
Right, Freedom Island. I hope the Prime Minister and whoever people in government is listening.
Yes. So whoever is, in a position to make that
This guy could do it at $10,000 right now.
US.
US.
I don't want to be stingy, all right? Yeah, sure, and thing.
Of course.
Okay.
With everything supposed to be in the US. You do like international. But that nice name.
Yeah.
That nice name. But they're saying, it will do well to bring in our foreign currency and that kind of thing. Because I think that when it comes to tourism, we depend on oil, and we say we have been diversifying. We should be diversifying long time, but we haven't done that kind of thing.
Yep, and we can.
Because look at Barbados. Barbados doesn't have any oil.
Yeah, well, Barbados has a strong tourism sector. They're big on tourism.
Well, we could be we could be the same thing too.
Yeah.
But we haven't invested in that kind of money.
Yeah, Tobago is a prime example. We could do so much more, but I guess it's happening. But maybe as not as fast as we may want it to. But yeah, I think Tobago is developing.
Because in addition to that, we could have a lot of people. Not my idea, but a lot of people, especially, have been, championing the causes. For example, like having a particular building. Just like we have National Library, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, National Library are the heritage library. But I don't really think, I used to work there. I don't know how it has progressed since I've left there. But, you need a kind of building for culture and that kind of thing. That also could be part of tourism. If you ask me.
It has to be.
Because I was saying, you had bands like, great band leaders like Bailey and Peter Minshall, he's still there. Steve Leong, Sita Velasquez.
Yeah.
We had the right to have like costumes before these guys died. Right? So you have like a floor for costumes, and you have like all these great band leaders, that kind of thing.
Yes.
At least you have at least 2-3 costumes from each band and pictures of certain band and that kind of thing. Right? So when you go on a floor, when tourists come, we talk about foreign currency. When tourists come, they could go there and, see, what kind of mask came, how mask used to be then, how mask is now, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
But I get to see, I think leadership is a hell of a thing. Leadership vision. I mean, people have been talking about it. As I said, it's not my idea. Right? So you have a floor for that. You have a floor for music and calypso and that kind of thing. You know, you could go and listen to hear what calypso song like 30 years ago. You know, from Ten City days of rum and Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw it, but there has been how they call it, a video circulating where people have been, commenting on the origins of calypso and reggae and blah 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 and whatnot, and who made international first. You see, but these are the kind of things that we really need. And what I'm saying is, Nelson Island, hopefully to be named Freedom Island. Hopefully, I love that name.
Yeah.
Good. I think that Nelson Island could play a very, very, very good part. You know, because I know sometimes, I also mentioned too that only time I hear in this fest down Nelson Island, I really thought it was down there. You know. If the other day I asked my sister, oh, you could have fests down Nelson Island, or 5 Island. 5 Island, I keep hearing the 5 Island.
Yeah.
You know, Nelson Island, one of the 5
One
islands.
of the 5 islands, yeah.
And I wonder, well, wait, they'll have to take boats to go down there. And then my sister told me, well, no, it's some place lower down Chaguaramas they call it 5 Island. So I don't know, people came up with the idea, the promoters, calling a piece of land. You never heard that? Well, fets, where they promoting fets. And saying fets down 5 Island, fets down 5 Island.
I think I may have heard about that before, but are they really going to have fets on the island?
Well, I used to wonder. And that's the reason why I called my sister. And she said, well, no, Roland, how do they call it 5 Island, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's some piece of land.
Oh, you mean the 5 Island water park?
Well, even that and all,
right.
even that and all I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. It's the amusement park. It's a water park.
Mm-hmm.
They call it 5 Islands.
So it's not on 5 Island.
No, it's not. I got a little distracted there, but it is a 5 Island amusement park. It's like a water slide.
Yeah, because
and
I used to wonder,
pools
well, then people go into that. To take
yeah,
boats
no. It's a 5 Island. It's a water park in Carenage, in Chaguaramas, along the Chaguaramas stretch. Yeah,
And
it's huge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it has like an arcade and stuff in there too. Little bar, there's a bar and food and stuff. So it's a nice area to have a fete.
Probably.
And a big car park too, so probably it's in the car park. I've never been to one of those, but I imagine it's in the car park.
I imagine I'm from Carnage.
Yeah.
But all these developments,
that's okay. Yeah.
all of these developments have taken place. You know, it's such, everything just went up so quickly.
I know.
You know,
I just want to give a little
of
promo
course.
here. We have a giveaway to do in about 5 minutes, where we will be opening the phone lines to give away a lovely box of a Lotus pancake and waffle mix. Just have to tell us why you love Lotus the best. We're going to take some calls coming up at about 2:35 today.
2:35 today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, well, it's almost time to
Good to see the National Flour Mills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Eat some pancakes right now, as a matter of fact.
So just to wrap up, I just want to say that I just hope that the government go through with that. You know, I support them 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, politics aside, we just saying what we think best for the country. You know, because over the many years, I think that is something that we have fallen short of. Because if you look at the things really truly, that most of our historical sites are what we might think tourist sites. If you look at it, most of those sites are sites that we inherited, you know, like Fort George and all these kind of places. Even the buildings around the Savannah, Millefleur and all these places that they see.
Magnificent Seven.
The Magnificent Seven. I mean, all of these things, the thing that we came and we met, those things were there before colonial times.
Yeah, correct.
What have the various administration done as far as these things are concerned in terms of embellishing? Well, I know we had the renovation of the buildings around the Savannah, but in terms of developing other sites now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, because there are lots of sites around Trinidad and Tobago.
Of course.
Well, not Tobago. Tobago is already tourist. But in Trinidad right here, there are lots of sites that we can really develop and make it attractive to tourists.
You know, it'll take a little money for that too, huh?
Come on, man.
I wanted to fix the roads first. Just fix the roads first. And
well, talking about the roads, I forget to mention. Yeah. Again, I mention it again.
It's a whole
that
yesterday,
piece
but all kind of language come out, yes?
That piece of flyover, the concrete flyover, people, is leading from St. James to Kukurit. It's just around my peaks there. Again, people, I will keep saying it on the radio. The powers that be. So if anything would happen to anybody today or tomorrow, they cannot say that nobody was talking about it on the radio.
Right.
So the powers that be, right? I think Miss Marcelin, I think she the local councillor there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So anybody who know Miss Marcelin, if you all are listening, you all can bring it to her attention. If she's not aware of it, or even the mayor of Diego Martin, she's not too far from me. Her office is just obliquely opposite me. But to get it there is a kind of difficult kind of situation. But anybody who is listening, again, just inform them that rough piece of road there, probably with a couple of potholes or whatever,
Yeah.
it is very terrible. And there's a serious accident waiting to happen.
Correct.
Good. So until tomorrow, we have come to the end of our program. Until tomorrow, it was nice, and thanks for the person who called. Do have a beautiful afternoon.
All right. Thank you very much, Roland. Until the next one, which will be tomorrow, God's willing. Stay tuned. We take a break. When we come back, we have to give away a box of Lotus pancake and waffle mix. It's really, really, really nice. So we're going to give it to you. Just have to let us know. Just tell us about your favorite moment with Lotus products. So why do you love Lotus the best? Why do you love Lotus the best? That's coming up next here on Talk City.
Hey Trisha, I ain't seen you in a while. How business going?
Boy, business real slow these days, and advertising expensive.